the worse the road, the better the spot. And you can forget about cell service.
We're Rich and Kirsten, and after driving 3,500 kilometers in 3 days, we've been enjoying van life on our own terms by climbing mountains, enjoying some beautiful alpine views, spotting wildlife, and camping at some of Canada's most beautiful campsites. But this week, we're looking to actually live one of van life's most famous cliches. We've been spending a lot of time in Calgary lately, and it's really starting to feel like our home away from home on the road. The Albertans have been so kind and generous to us thus far, but we didn't build our van to be a city-dwelling vehicle or to spend this much time in the city. Alberta has tons of public land use zones, which you now have to actually have a permit for, which feels like a bit of a money grab, but it's only $30 plus some additional fees for the annual pass, but it feels worth it to buy the permit to go find some land down by the lake to live in our van. This spot looks as good as any we've had on this trip or last trip or any trip, and this is one of those public land use zones, which is unfortunately really busy on a Saturday, and I guess we shouldn't be surprised. We did try and find a spot further east on Abraham Lake, but it was either A, the road was way too bad, that is the worst road I've ever seen, or B, it was completely rammed with locals that looked like they were about to have a party tonight. We are staying on the North Saskatchewan River, right where it meets Abraham Lake. So I guess instead of living the van life down by the lake, we're living the van life down by the river.
In the winter, this is the place where you get those really cool air bubbles in the water, which obviously is not winter. We're not going to see it right now. Needless to say though, I think it's going to be a nice and hopefully peaceful experience, even though there's lots of other people here. We have an unobstructed view with no campers in front of us and nobody really beside us either, but I don't think we're gonna become regulars here on weekends. Somewhat reluctantly, I caved and I bought a new pair of hiking boots, something I've been resisting doing since the end of last year. You see, I bought these Columbia boots at the beginning of last year, hoping that they would be a really good quality hiking boot for the mountains, but it's been proven otherwise. I think I've learned my lesson that cheaper but good brand isn't always the way to go. Unfortunately, I completely destroyed the bottom of these boots. These were a little over $100 Canadian, and I think that probably should have been my first red flag that these might not work for me. We did about 10 to 15 summit hikes last year, which is not a crazy amount, but these boots did not survive past about 5 of them. I was super reluctant to trade them until I saw Richard get his Scarpas and see how well they were performing on the mountain compared to these Columbia boots. No shade against Columbia, they're a great outdoor brand, but for mountaineering, it's really important to have the right gear for the job. So I've traded up to these Scarpa boots. These are the Terra GTX boots. They have Gore-Tex lining in them, which means that they're gonna stay waterproof, but most importantly, they have Vibram soles. These Scarpas were a much more significant investment, coming in at about $250 Canadian, but I have a feeling that for this amount, I'm gonna get a much higher quality product. These treads so far look a lot thicker and a lot sturdier, and they just feel like they're gonna be the right tool for the job. So this morning we decided to take them out for a test at Lake Moraine on a wonderful rainy morning.
So what's the verdict?
So far, so good. And today's the perfect day to test if the Gore-Tex actually works, because it's pouring rain. Seems like at least once a week we get caught in weather like this. They're really comfortable, and I'm really glad that I decided to finally ante up the money and buy serious hiking boots. Oh, We were just about to make dinner when we met another friendly van lifer who happens to be our neighbor for the night. Just a nice gentleman who recently retired from Edmonton. It's really nice to connect with other van lifers now that we're finally in a place where we can. It's interesting to see the journey everybody takes to get here and kind of learn what their plans are, where they're headed, and maybe to see if there's somewhere that they want to go that we've been or vice versa. Coffee?
We gave up our beautiful campsite really early this morning and drove to the town of Noreg to get some proper cell reception, because the reality for us, just like many other normal people, is that we have to work too. We feel very lucky to be able to operate our media business from inside of our van, but one big problem with this area is that a lot of the best camping does not have cell reception, so it does mean that we do have to do a little bit more traveling. We feel very lucky to also have clients that appreciate the lifestyle that we've chosen, and the major benefit is that even though we had to do some work on a Sunday, we're really close to some beautiful trails that truthfully we don't know a whole lot about, but we have downloaded some GPS tracks, and with poor weather moving into the area tomorrow, we don't really have a choice. Today's got to be a hiking day.
Well, we finally got the day for hiking that we've been waiting for. Warm sun, cool breeze, it's about 15 degrees outside. There's just one small problem. We had mac and cheese for dinner last night, which doesn't exactly have the nutritional value to get you through an 11-kilometer hike on a warm day like today. Not that there's anything wrong with mac and cheese, just that if we were planning on doing this hike, we probably would have picked something a little bit more substantial. And I don't think we would have started hiking at noon when the sun's right above us. We're halfway there.
I feel like I'm gonna get knocked over.
You can fly with that hat.
No kidding. No kidding.
Even my leggings are breathing in the wind. How's it feel, bud?
A little tired. We had to come down a bit from the summit because it was like gale force winds up there.
The real reason why we were so inclined to do this summit is there's some really colorful rock when you get to the summit and just push past it. But once you got a little bit closer towards that colorful rock, it was like mind-blowingly windy. Like it would knock you over.
It was like gale force, blowing like 60 knot. Insane.
Do you actually think it was 60 knot?
I have no idea. It's gale force.
This is gale force.
I'm not sure about this hat either. Is it
I really like it in the wind.
Is it growing on you?
It's growing up here.
So I should have probably bought one that had a more solid brim, because this thing just goes flying
A
in the
real
wind.
tilly hat. This is probably one of the more impressive summit hikes we've done, because it's not quite 360-degree view of mountains, but it's definitely a 180. And because of the expansive valley that the North Saskatchewan River runs through, you get an entire bowl of mountains around you, and they are seriously impressive.
Well, that was a fun little hike. I am really looking forward to my baby wipe shower at the end of this, though. It was a hot and sweaty day out there, and I'm starting to feel it a little bit.
Good news is Noreg has
Nordegg?
has hot showers.
Is it worth it? Probably, yeah.
Probably after today.
Baby wipe first, though. I really want to camp tonight on Abraham Lake. That's kind of why we came here, and I found a couple potential spots. It was completely full last night, but tonight's Sunday night, so...
We did seem to see the mass exodus of people when we were coming towards this hike, so I'm hopeful that they all went and disappeared.
What do you think?
I think this could do. I think it's like okay up there. That'd be flat. There. Wow.
Kirsten and I were both feeling really zapped after yesterday's hike for whatever reason. It wasn't exactly the most difficult or most strenuous hike that we've ever done, but afterwards we were able to find a place to park at the campsite that we wanted, had dinner, fell asleep, and then woke up to incredible views of Abraham Lake.
One of the reasons we really wanted to come to Abraham Lake has to do with a TV show that we love. It's called Ice Pilots NWT, and it follows the story of an airline up in Northwest Territories called Buffalo Airways. This airline is really cool because they actually fly DC-3s and other wartime airplanes that were used during active service in World War II. They've now been converted over to commercial airliners, but it's still super fascinating the history behind them. In season 6, the final season of this TV show, it all led up to the final episode, which was about them dropping parachuters over this lake, Abraham Lake. One of the really fascinating things about Buffalo Airways is that they have in service one of the airplanes that was used on D-Day back in 1944. So in order to commemorate the 70th anniversary of D-Day, they dropped 16 parachuters over this lake while veterans watched on from a nearby mountain. Because this DC-3 had been upfitted to be a commercial aircraft, they had to make some modifications to it in order to make it back to its original state from 1944. But it was really fascinating seeing the whole season leading up to this drop. And honestly, we were just kind of curious how the DC-3 climbed in and out of this valley. Good for a dip, bud.
Well, I'm not so sure about that. This lake's got that beautiful turquoise blue water, but it's icy cold. I don't think it's right for a dip. If I got really desperate for a shower though, I might give her.
You might need a shower after going in there though.
True.
These are coming in this way. Holy crap. Do I at least look windswept?
Very much so.
I'll close the door right now. Wow. That was exhilarating. I think we need more water. Having safe drinking water for us in a van is really important because, well, we drink a lot of it, and if one of us gets sick in this van, the only place we can go to the bathroom is the porta shutters and Walmart. So while we could have gotten an inline filter like a lot of RVs have, and you've probably seen in a lot of van builds, it doesn't exactly work for us because we want to be able to pick up water from any source, whether it be a river, a stream, a lake. It just needs to be able to be purified to the utmost degree for us. And unfortunately, those inline filters don't do enough to help make sure that the water's safe for us. So we picked up this MSR gravity bag. It is called the Auto Flow. We got their largest option, which is a 10 liter, and we read the instructions.
They almost guaranteed have your language too.
Yeah. Japanese, anyone?
I see
Maybe
Mandarin,
Italian?
Spanish, German, Swedish.
Oh, what's that one? Oh, Russian? Needless to say, I'm done with those, and it's time to put this to the test. So back in Canmore, we visited a natural spring that is known by the locals, that is supposed to be relatively safe.
We did test this water. We let it sit overnight and there was no sediment in the bottom. Nothing settled. So we're assuming it's probably safe to drink anyways, but it's not a risk we're taking right now because we want to try this out.
And we figure we should try it with water that's relatively clean and not sediment filled, just for ease of use and so that we don't clog up the filter pretty soon. These are our secondary jugs, so we keep these in the bench. We have 2 of them, which brings our total water up to 46 liters that we carry at all times.
We're gonna time exactly how long it takes to filter all 10 liters.
But my guess is it's gonna take a little under half an hour.
Think so?
Yeah.
Think it's gonna take that long?
Yeah.
I was gonna say 20 minutes.
Ooh, is this a bet?
Ooh, she's getting heavy. Yours is getting light.
Okay.
Perfect, 10 liters on the dot.
Right on the dot.
So it doesn't matter which way I roll it up as long as I...
No, as long as you roll it all the way through. Yeah, there you go. And then you just want your 2 clasps. So it kind of works just like a wet bag where you roll it up and then you snap it to hold it in place.
Can our mirror handle the weight? Yes, it can.
The instructions are pretty straightforward. This tube connects onto there, and this one goes directly into our water source. It does come with this universal cap piece, but I don't think we need to use this. I think we can run the line directly into here because this, unfortunately, is just a touch too small for our jug here. This has a male-female clip, so we're just gonna press down on that, connect it, release it, and she's got water. Look at that.
And now we wait. Well, it looks like we were both wrong. I was much closer than Kirsten, and she even read the specs and quoted the times quoted on the specs. But if this is Price is Right rules, we're both wrong, and nobody gets the prize. There's still definitely at least a liter in the bag. I'm not sure if it was designed this way, but it's not flowing anymore.
Okay, we're gonna have to get crafty to get this last bit out.
Are we supposed to do this, though?
I'm gonna do it anyways. We know this water doesn't have any sediment, so we're just gonna do this.
It's good to be back in the world of running water. Whoa. This is fun. Well, I think we answered the question today. Does it work? Yes, I think it does, although we don't have any sort of tools to measure the water quality. But as far as I can tell, that MSR gravity bag works just fine. It's nice to have running water again.
After lugging around the Coleman stove that we used last summer for the last couple weeks without using it, we finally decided to break it out today. It is an absolutely amazing day. It's probably about 18 degrees. There's no breeze where we are, or at least there's only like a light breeze, not enough to knock us over. So we are cooking in the front step of our van with our propane stove because there's still enough breeze to knock out the flame. We are whipping up the burritos that we were gonna make yesterday. First, I started off by making some delicious homemade, let's try that again. We started by making some delicious refried beans, which we'll probably use for another meal as well. And now we're just gonna chop up all the other good stuff. We did manage to find from our favorite brand that makes the Mexican grind, a chorizo that they make. So we're gonna try that out. I doubt it's gonna be as good as the Trader Joe's one, although we haven't tried that yet, and it was suggested to us by another viewer. So it's gonna be soy chorizo? Chorizo burritos with real cheese and lots of guac.
Look at this setup, guys.
I love my camp stove. Very nice. We are just whipping up some fresh veg to add. Got that guacamole where we add our tomatoes and onions. I know that's not the traditional way. We just do it that way because it's easier to put into the burrito. We do the same thing for tacos too. I know it's not very Mexican approved, but it works for us. This is the part where I make a mess of myself. Don't do it like this at home, kids. First, the tortilla. We're gonna put that in the pan. We're gonna start with a smear of the refried beans. Hope I don't add too much, otherwise it's not gonna roll. Let's start with that much. And then we gotta add the avocado, tomato, green onion mixture. Did you pepper it?
I did nothing.
You did nothing?
I'm pretty sure it's gonna have enough flavor.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Add some rice. We got our little chorizo. Okay. We got cranked at heat. Let it get toasty toast.
Good luck with your gluten-free wrap.
They're just really thick. They're not really stretchy. This is a highly anticipated burrito.
We've been trying to make this for like a day now, and we finally made it. And we actually used the Coleman stove. Can you believe it?
I'm gonna eat this now. Oh yeah. You gotta have beans and rice in your burrito. I'm actually pretty impressed with the soy chorizo from Yves. I don't have anything to compare it against, but I would say that it tastes pretty damn good. We've not had a bad Yves veggie ground yet. It's actually our preferred one if we're gonna pick one.
This chorizo is really good, but I don't think I would pay the 20% premium in the future for it because it was like $1.50 more expensive. The regular veggie ground was only $4, but still really good. I'm gonna enjoy this.
And so this completes our time on the David Thompson Highway. We probably wouldn't have come up here if it hadn't have been for one of our subscribers who suggested that we come out and check this amazing area. If there's somewhere you think we would love seeing in BC or Alberta, please leave a comment down below or send us an email, because maybe we'll fall in love with it just as much as here. If you've made it this far and haven't subscribed yet, we would love it if you would hit subscribe and maybe hit the notification bell if you're feeling so ambitious, or give this video a thumbs up. As always, thank you to our patrons for their support. It means the world to us, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.